Here we go. All entrepreneurs, aspiring, current, and further for 2024. We're getting ready to give you the top 8 needs, and it's going to actually be linked with the North Node, which in Vedic Astrology is Rahu. Rahu is in Pisces, and Ketu, the South Node, is in Virgo. We actually did this talk recently, very differently within the membership, so feel free to check things like that out. You'll have it on replay. You'll actually get way more in depth about the nodes itself in the membership. Today, we're just speaking specifically about the needs itself. I have Aileen, the Mexican Bruja, here with me. Feel free to introduce yourself.
Hello, well, here you said it. I'm a Mexican Bruja. We're actually currently here in Mexico, and I'm going to be linking some of these top needs with something that people that want to be spiritual entrepreneurs specifically, like if you do Reiki, if you do yoga, if you do tarot readings, astrology readings, what are the specific needs that this North Node is asking us to do in order to have a successful business?
Bang. So without further ado, I'm going to probably like turn my body to her, my whole language to her, and kind of interview style her. And so with that being said, I have some things that I'm going to be dropping up top. I don't think you're a moderator, right? You can't drop things up. That's okay. So we're going to kind of go ahead and get right into it. What I'm going to say is, number one, as you hit this timestamp at 124, number one we have right here is recognition and release of toxic masculine traits, as well as long-term healing, or what could be considered a connection to God. So, Aileen, what does this mean for you? Like, okay, how are we going to be helping Sacred Innovators starting up March 23rd? Is a Saturday. Every class will be on Saturday. The Sacred Innovators reality is going to be starting up, okay? How are we going to be helping Sacred Innovators, people who want to be entrepreneurs, with long-term healing, some sense of a connection to God, and even more into the recognition and release of the toxic masculine traits?
So I feel like Pisces itself is a feminine sign. So starting there, everything about the North Node is like surrender, to understand that we need to trust that there's a higher power, that some things, when they're not working out, we have to stop sticking to the organization and the things that we already have in mind.
Okay.
So this toxic masculinity that we're looking at in the shadow forms that we're looking to avoid when the North Node hits Pisces, is to stop fighting, because like the masculine is like acting and just like going and cardinal and like fighting and going through. So this is more about understanding when to let go and to surrender, which is the actual feminine trait that we're looking for in this transit.
Sure.
So, but although I just do need to say that one of the masculine traits that we need to actually start looking forward to is the vision of a bigger picture.
Okay.
So it's like correcting this detail or orientation to actually focus on the bigger picture.
Okay.
So it's like stop doing all of the menial little things that we think are getting us closer to perfection, because we're exactly going to the opposite. Like we don't want to reach perfection. We want to understand that there's a higher power that's just leading us to our true selves and our vision of that.
Thanks. No, I hear it. I hear it 1,000%. So definitely just take a moment to ponder and see how well that resonates with you, to stop being so detail orientated, so overly focused and obsessed with how it looks, how am I going to get there, and starting allowing that higher power, that connection to God, that recognition that you want to feel connected to a faith, to a belief, something you believe in, a project you believe in, even including and especially yourself, to kind of let go of those toxic masculine traits of the corporate America, of the Western world, saying that you have to work, you have to grind, the motivational speaker type content, and understanding that the long-term healing of this is literally a connection to God, versus the short-term thinking, if I work hard enough, I'm going to get where I need to go. So 419, we're looking at really the next point here, which I have, is about purposing our why. So we're looking for entrepreneurs that really want to come and find themselves as Sacred Innovators, right? March 23rd is when we're beginning, all right? It's going to be an 8-week, pretty much course where you'll meet with myself, you'll meet with Aileen, you'll meet with myself, you'll meet with Aileen every other Saturday, and we're going to be taking different pieces. This one is actually going to be her talk, okay, on one of her second Saturdays, and it's about purposing our why, having meaningful and sacred work. Now, how many of us don't have meaningful and sacred work, and how do you purpose your why so that you can align with something meaningful, align with something sacred?
Yeah. So, for example, what we're gonna do in these sessions is to understand what is sacred to us, what is meaningful, because even sometimes what we think we want is not our actual self.
Sure.
It's our false self. So we're gonna do some exercises to get away from that and understand what is actually sacred to us, what is actually the meaningful work. Now, being the North Node in Pisces, I am gonna say like out loud, let's get it out of the way. It is towards helping others.
Okay.
So a lot of this work, we have to be happy understanding that we're helping others or being of service of others. But to each one of us, and this also depends on our chart, like where is our midheaven, like
right. What house you have for Pisces in your own chart?
That's gonna define the exact work
right,
that you want to do, or where are you leaning towards more. But the importance of this is we cannot be doing some work that we don't like, or that we don't find sacred, or that we don't find meaning in, because that goes against everything that Pisces is.
Sure.
So it is so important because that is going to help us to keep going. That is going to help us to actually be satisfied when we finish our work. Exactly, long term. Yeah, when we go to bed every day knowing that we did something that is meaningful, that is helping the humanity, that is actually going to be bringing us closer to God and to understanding this higher power that is leading us, like as humanity, towards something that is greater than us.
No, I hear you. Do me a favor. Move a little closer. You're a little far away. Go ahead. Let me help you scoot up here. All right, here we go. Yeah, get in frame. So that said, for those of you out there, just take a moment to think like, are you doing meaningless work? Are you doing work that doesn't feel meaningful? Not that the work you're doing is meaningless, but does it feel truly meaningful? Something that like forever you could do this, you could do it for free, you could do it without any expectations in return. And then you still feel like you're worthy and deserve that return anyways, because again, it is meaningful work for you. So right now we're at 7-11. And what I have for you now is the third point out of the top 8 needs for the entrepreneurs in 2024. Again, we're running the Sacred Innovators Reality. You'll see you can register for free down below. And if you do check out that registration, what it'll do is it'll give you a questionnaire. Because we're not just going to take people in just because you decided you want to do this. It's about making sure that the environment is healthy. We already have 3 people in that are actually actively in, right? And then we have 2 more people that are already in the application process. So with that said, it's a good time for you, if you feel called to this, to join by registering and just get the questionnaire, and it's going to help us figure it out. So with that said, we're looking at number 3. And, when it looks at top needs, confrontations, hard client talks, right? Releasing the expectation and willingness to let clients go or to allow the relationship to change. And so, what do you feel about it? You said, I feel excitement kind of radiating out of you. Like, what do you feel about this? How do you want to? How will entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs benefit from understanding what hard client talks are about, as well as the shifts and the changes in any relationship?
Yeah. So, first of all, like hard client talks, I feel that is something that we all tend to avoid. Like it is kind of a taboo, even topic, just because we don't want to let that client go.
Because the customer's always right too, right?
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
At the end of the day, when you're in the entrepreneurship, it's like, I cannot afford to lose a client, right? Like we're all in this grind work mentality of like, I need more clients. But it's time to stop focusing on the quantity of clients,
right?
And starting to look at the quality of the clients.
Exactly.
Because let's think for a moment that if you're surrounded in your business by clients that are toxic and that are not actually fulfilling yourself, you as an entrepreneur are like losing there.
Yeah, and your creative life force starts to die and dwindle. It gets dull. Life gets dull. Colors get dull. Yeah.
And it's something that the North Node in Pisces is asking us to move away from. Like, because Pisces is a healing sign.
Sure.
Like we all know that.
Sure.
But the way that Pisces heals, they cannot afford to lose their vital energy in somebody who's just like an energetic vampire.
Right.
Like who's just taking the energy away and not actually benefiting from it.
Sure.
So we need to start looking for the actual clients that do use that light in a good way. And this way is just to get all of us closer to this higher power, to the God, because I mean Pisces and God, they just come together. So this whole North Node in Pisces is actually asking us to be closer to God, to this higher power.
Sure.
So we need to stand away from these clients that are taking away from us without giving in return.
Sure.
So this is why it's important to have these confrontations, like to have these client talks, like, because it could be also something subconscious that they are not aware of. So by us speaking up, we're actually helping them to understand, like, shoot, there's something here that I need to heal, that now I have in my radar. So now I can do the shadow work, and now I can actually take this long-term healing instead of just the short-term of like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna change this behavior so they're not angry with me and they take my business, right? Like that's a short term of like, I'm just changing on the outside, but I'm not actually taking the whole healing inside of me.
And that's the Virgo in the South Node, you know, when you look at Ketu, if we're separating from these quick Band-Aids, right? Yeah. It's like, oh, there's a problem, there's an issue, I can fix it, that'll last for a week, it'll last for a month, but does the problem keep repeating? And if so, generally what you know in this moment is that you're not focused on long-term solutions that actually last. And so having the willingness to engage in a client talk in entrepreneurship, if I'm being honest, it's not simple. It's not easy. It took 6-7 years of me as an entrepreneur myself on a full-time base to actually realize, one, that they're necessary. Two, that the conflicts oftentimes are not the conflict that it appears to be. And Pisces has a part of it, you know, part of the Rahu in this North Node is there are going to be some illusion as for what is this really about? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is being reflected to me? You know, is there a scarcity mindset here? And a lot of times when it comes to allowing a relationship to change, there's a scarcity mindset of I may not have another client to come. When in reality, it's like you may have, and I've seen this in myself, like by holding on to one client, 3 more are waiting at the door who energetically can't pass through. And so you may be looking at this and God got another plan for you and got an abundance of 6 times the amount. You feel me? So thank you. I appreciate you, Aileen, on that. Right now we're at 12:14. And, you know, from this point number 8, I want to remind you all that, again, March 23rd on a Saturday, each Saturday, you're going to have 1 week with me, 1 week with Aileen, and we're going to switch back and forth for 8 weeks total. And we're going to be walking you through the world of entrepreneurship. Flat out, just like that. But how to do it in alignment, how to do it in connection with self and connection with God. Okay, connection with a faith higher than what you believe you need. And also something that is very supportive to you when it comes to purpose-driven work. And so for number 4, what we have is the importance of recharging. Okay, the spirit routine and the practice and the variety that's necessary. She's going to help you understand what this 40-minute piece is. And we got a little bit of this from an understanding outlook from Jan Spiller. So shout out to you as well. All right, so number 4, recharging, spirit routine, work. Tell us, what does the entrepreneurs need and why is this a need in entrepreneurship?
So again, normal, Pisces, everything spirit work is what's gonna help us to keep recharging. So I as Pernell said, I actually get this from Jan Spiller in her book Astrology for the Soul.
For the soul.
And she says that it is super important for the North Node in Pisces to recharge, but in a way that is getting us closer to God, to the source. So she says that, and it is important to speak on the variety, and I especially speak for myself because I am one of those people who, if I keep doing something for far too long, it starts to get boring for me. So I don't want to do it anymore. So I used to change meditations, and this is all okay. Like, change the meditation, do breath work, do yoga, do Tai Chi. The importance here is that it is something that is actually recharging us, and it has to be a minimum of 40 minutes each day.
Sure.
So it has to be something that doesn't involve social media, that doesn't involve other people, that doesn't involve listening to music. Like, it could be in the background if you're meditating, sure, but if it is just escaping through music, because I always make this differentiation. We can be escaping through music, just like letting the lyrics and the author or the singer just getting us somewhere else. But that is not recharging for our soul. Yeah. We really need this time to think of ourselves. She even mentions that reading is another form of escapism.
Right. Facts.
So what we really need is just to stay still in silence, just in the present moment.
Mm-hmm.
She does say that journaling, and I understand like the differentiation because we're escaping through somebody else's literature.
Mm-hmm.
But when you are writing your own thoughts in your own journal, that is a form of recharge because in some way you're healing those thoughts that are inside of ourselves and that we need to take out in some way.
Because with the South Node, you have this Virgo in the South Node, and we're separating from criticism, self-criticism,
exactly.
Negative self-talk.
Exactly,
right?
And she speaks a lot of just to be objective, like observe yourself, but in an objective way,
Mm-hmm.
without judgment. Just like,
Sure.
okay, this is what it is. It is not bad. It is not good.
Right.
It's just how it is.
And that's one of the things that writing allows you to do. And I think the key thing is, like, I've seen even for myself, like when I'm going through like very negative thought patterns, I'm looking at it, and when I do write and journal it down, I start seeing things more clearly and go, I don't really believe that, right? Like, I don't even feel that way. And it's like, kind of like, where did this come from? And it just gives me a way to like get deeper and assess the health and the hygiene of my mind, right? The mental hygiene, the spiritual hygiene, by just taking a moment to see objectively, what am I thinking? Am I thinking this? Mm-hmm. Is this an old thought form, right? So this is what we have for you for number 4 at 1614. And what we're going to do is say, once again, take the moment to check out the free registration down in the chat below, okay? If you are a sacred innovator and you are somebody who wants to step deeper into entrepreneurship, but to do so in alignment. Having 1 week with Aileen, 1 week with myself for 8 weeks back and forth. Like I said, there's currently 3 people already active, 2 extra applications that have not been processed fully yet. And that said, we're now going through the process of number 5. So need number 5 we have is surrendering. Flat out, plain and simple, okay? Following your human design strategy, we're going to be helping you walk through that, okay? So you can get more in tune with your own personal authority. And as an entrepreneur, you need to be in tune with your authority. Why? Because there's no boss that's going to structure a life plan for you. They're not going to tell you when to go to work, when to go to sleep, right? They're not going to tell you what you need to produce, when you need to market. They're not going to help you understand the cycles of when marketing is just not the best thing, rather than taking the time to recharge your soul or taking the time to X, Y, and Z, right? So really learning how to surrender when you're frustrated, when you're bitter, or when you're angry, right? And so we're going to help you understand better your profile, whether you're a generator, whether you're a projector, whether you're a manifester. And these are some of the not self themes, meaning I'm not being true to myself. When I feel frustrated, I know very clearly that I'm working against the grain, but that's also because I'm a generator. I've seen other people that I know who are projectors, and when they're not working with themselves, they become very bitter. But for me, bitterness is not a real emotion that I experience very often. I don't really go through bitterness very often. I can say anger, but the anger is very different than going through with a manifestor. So we're going to help you understand these. So do you have anything you want to contribute when it comes to surrendering to your authority, to really like a strategy that fits for you, even as an emotional generator?
Yeah, I mean, for me, the frustration is just like a trademark. Like I can feel it really clear when I feel like crying for no reason, like something's not working, and I feel like crying. It's like, okay, this is gone too far. It's time to stop.
Yeah.
But there's no reason to get to that point.
Sure.
Also, the thing that I always like to make a differentiation here is like it is to know when to surrender and when to be persistent.
Sure.
Because you can get frustrated, or you can think that you're frustrated, right?
Yeah.
Or not knowing even your own strategy. Like if I'm feeling angry, it doesn't mean that I should surrender.
Sure.
It just means that there's something else that is trespassing my boundaries. Yeah. So understanding also in human design which actual is the I don't know, the core emotions.
Sure, I get you.
To follow, it's very, very helpful because sometimes you I mean, it's an entrepreneurship. You do need to be consistent and to know when to fight and when to surrender.
Exactly.
So it's like maybe and how to surrender.
Sure.
Like, it's just such a big amount.
There's no map. There's no map. No one's gonna ever really come in and be like, now's the time to surrender, right? So when you're out of tune and out of alignment with your own strategy, right, your own authority, you don't really recognize the signs, right? She said it, and when she was talking, one thing I thought about is like a creative frustration is very different than like God putting a roadblock up.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like when you're creating something brand new, as an entrepreneur, you're always going to be creating something brand new, right? Like this is the simple reality, always. And that's part of for me as a creator, that's one of the joys. So the creative frustrations are a critical piece behind being consistent and being persistent, right? But that's very different than being frustrated when I'm trying to walk and force myself in a direction that life, nature, animals, people, my friends have told me is not working, right? Like I've had this happen where life is like, we don't want you to go this way.
Exactly.
And I'm just trying to push on anyways. So we want to just help distinguish the difference between bitterness and anger and frustration in different moments for different people. We all have a unique design that I'm going to be helping you during my week, specifically with this. And I know, like, I feel like it's worked tremendous wonders for you when the emotional, you know, like understanding when waves are coming versus what is the difference with me? And I don't experience the same waves. It's not a part of my design. But how do I actually cater to myself and take care of myself and essentially not allow my own energy to be abused by myself by not recognizing how to manage and move and shift during waves from other people outside of myself, right? And sometimes you can't help. And that's like one of the things with the North Node Pisces, we have to understand that sometimes the best help and support you can give another person is to not help, to just drop out.
Oh, because that's also a big Northern Pisces thing. Like, stop trying to fix people.
Like nothing's wrong, they're not broken. Nobody's broken. I'm not broken. She's not broken. You're not broken, right? And so I'm gonna move on right here and say 2140. We got point number 6, which is about forcing the unknown.
Facing.
Oh, I'm sorry, facing. I was like, saying, wow, look at that. It's right on point. Facing the unknown. This is the soul emergency plan. This is one of Eileen's week that she's going to be taking care of, right? Let go of the plan / chaos, right? So how do you face the unknown?
Well, so we always start planning, and especially as entrepreneurs, like you said, there's no boss, so you plan your own, you do your own map, you create your own strategies, and you understand what you want to sell, what you want to do, and how you want to do it. But there's some point where you need to just let go of this plan and understand that, okay, if things are not going my way, it doesn't mean that I'm still not gonna get where I want to get. So it's more of the trust. This point specifically just reminds me of the tarot card, the Fool, that he's just going. Like, he's just trusting that ahead is the thing that he needs. And that's exactly where we need to go. So understand that even if you made a plan, because we are going to make a plan, like, understand that. It's always a good idea to plan and create ahead and understand budgets and all of this stuff. But if something starts going like not according to the plan, just taking its own turn, it is fine to let go of it and create something new and move forward and have another road, you know? So it's understanding that as we're moving out from the south, moving away from the south node in Virgo, it's like we need to learn to be in this chaos. Like, Virgo doesn't like it. It's like, I don't want to be lost and just wandering all around by myself. But as a Pisces, it's like, I just need to understand to go with the flow. To understand that there is chaos and that I'm fine with it. I'm going to be fine because I trust that there's somebody, like a higher power, leading me through it, and just trust it, like, literally. So that is the soul emergency plan. To what are the activities that are going to bring you peace, the activities that are going to take you to the present, the activities that are going to ease that anxiety. That's what we're going to create with this point, and to understand and reconnect ourselves with this higher power, because it is difficult. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, there are times where everything seems like
you started papers in the air.
Yeah, like, you just feel defeated, you feel anxious, you feel like, how am I going to pay this month's rent? So the soul emergency plan is to create these little actions that are going to help you reconnect, reground, and move forward.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I can attest to that. Like, I've hit points, and you're going to hit points where you're going to feel absolutely defeated. And it's like, it's not going to make sense. And usually that's kind of when God is hitting you with a redirect. And sometimes, even if you're not forcing it, it's going to still feel heavy. So, you know, that's something I feel you got with the North Node Pisces. You do got to be mindful of false gurus. You got to be mindful of false prophets, false guides. And that could be us. right? Like you have to use your own intuition, you have to use your own internal compass, because realize
Feelings.
that could be us, and understand that at an individual level, for 9 people, it's not us, and for one person, it is, right? So you have to understand that karma, life, in reincarnations, they don't work in a linear fashion. They don't work in a way that makes logical sense, right? So you got to listen to your own self. Don't just sign up for the 8 week sacred reality thinking this is for me. Like, you got to trust yourself first. And I feel like that's important to say. So right now we're at 25. So number 7 out of the 8 needs for entrepreneurs 2024, if you're stepping into entrepreneurship, is to go ahead and detach from the definition, keyword, which is a Virgo keyword of success. All right. And how you get there. This is where we're really focusing on organic selling, heart ethics, being able to sell absolutely anything that you believe in. And keyword, only if. So what does this feel like to detach from any definitions in order to start selling from the heart, like heart marketing?
Well, because Virgo is all about perfectionism.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always going to try to be perfect. And when you're in this road, nothing is good enough. So at the end of the day, it's like a paralysis of like, no, this product is not ready. So that by itself is like, I'm not believing in it.
Sure.
So how are you ever going to sell something if you don't believe in it enough to put it out for the world to market? Yeah. And this comes for services. Like it's a lot of, I don't believe that I am perfect enough to do a tarot reading. Like I don't believe that I know all the significance of the meanings.
The uprights. It is.
Exactly. So or as an astrologer, also as a Reiki practitioner, as a yoga teacher, like of course there's always things to improve, but that's a keyword. Like we're always improving, and that's a good thing to do. But if you're stuck in this perfectionism, like you're never gonna pass that roadblock that it's self-imposed. Yeah. Easy self-imposed.
Self-limiting belief, self-imposed, and probably one of the biggest consistent roadblocks in entrepreneurship. I can say that testing for myself, flat out, like I've been there. Like I've been to the point where I didn't believe in what I was doing. And in that process, just figuring it out step by step, right? And so I did find that like what can help recalibrate is to get ourselves back into the heart ethics, right? Get ourselves back into organic selling. Not selling because you made a deadline and you feel like you need to keep it and maintain it. And I like to give the example that we ran the Sacred Innovators Retreat, for example, right? I think it went down in November. And we were supposed to run this 8 weeks that we're telling you about now in December. But when life hit, like there was these frustrations, there's these roadblocks. And when you look at the organic selling, it's like right now, I don't believe that it's the season to run this 8 weeks. And I had to come talk to her, and I was feeling it. I was a little scared because I was like, man, we set this plan. We set this, we mapped this out from 7 months ago about when it was going to be. But I came to her and I was like, look, if I'm being honest, I'm not feeling it. Like right now, I'm not feeling it. Like I feel like if we run it right now, it's wrong. Like it's off. It's like something, I don't have the answer, but it don't feel right. And she was like, okay, well, when would it feel like? And we were like, okay, maybe January. We thought January. And we were like, nah, it's not January. And it's like, when would it feel right? It's like the spring equinox. And it's like, yeah. And then I got this like supreme satisfaction. That's me kind of following step 5 that you saw in the comments behind like following your authority, following your strategy. And it's like, I had this very euphoric yet calm and centered feeling that March 23rd is when we run this 8 week sacred reality. That I can get behind. That my heart feels aligned with. You feel the difference in my voice. You see the difference in my eyes. They begin to open wide because I'm like, yes, March is the time. So when I look at it like, this is a product at the end of the day, right? But this is where the heart is backing it. This is where my heart believes in it. And that frequency and putting that energy out there will always attract the right circumstances for you. All right. So right now we're at 29-22. And this is looking like the last and the final one. Do take the time, if you feel called to it, to check out the registration. The key thing is the registration itself is free. That allows you to get the survey that Aileen and myself mapped out. And that will then get you deeper to understand through those questions. One, is this really for me or is it all hype, right? This is not really what I need right now. Or 2, excuse me, or I had a brain fart, and I leave it alone. So we have number 8 right now. Number 8 is to feel, not think or judge. And I feel like it just happened right here. If I would have kept moving on from the brain fart, I would have started thinking. Without a doubt. Guaranteed. For everybody know that, Charles Barkley out there. And so number 8, Aileen, what is this about? To feel and not think or judge. And deeper insight on vocal toning and the chakra alignments.
Yeah, so Virgo in the South Node, overthinking, overanalyzing everything. So the key word for the North Node in Pisces is to actually feel into it and understand how does it feel, again, without judgment, without criticism. So this vocal toning is an example of one of the things that are super helpful, because we're not focused on giving like the perfect pitch or having the perfect voice or being an angel from heaven that is singing on earth. It's about what vibration feels good in my body. And that's what vocal toning is all about. We're sending different vibrations through different notes, different words, different vocals, or and how they feel in our body in order to release and reset and cleanse. And I put it next to the chakra alignment because it is very easy to do with the vocal toning, and it's an exercise that is so easy to feel into. So it's just a very easy way to understand if you are actually aligned or not. If you're overthinking, you're going to know immediately, because you're going to be focused on how does it sound? Oh, this doesn't sound good. It sounds ugly. Like, I don't like my voice. And it's not about that at all. It's about how my body feels about it when I'm doing the vibrations, when I'm doing the chants, when I'm doing the mantras and meditations. So this is a very powerful exercise that I want to give to each one of the members that come to the Sacred Innovators reality.
Yeah, and I know we did this at the retreat in person, and I can say for myself, like, one of the most powerful vibrations and frequencies that exist is your name. Why? Because with pen and paper, you're signing your name. You're signing your name over and over and over. And understand that when it's coming down to deprogramming, it may take you more than one. It may take you more than two, because your name itself is like, well, who am I? I'm Pernell. And it's like, well, reality, no, I'm not. But I'm claiming this. I'm saying this, right? I'm confirming this. I'm identifying as Pernell, right? And the more I do that, the more I say that, I become attached to this identity. So I would say that with that week 8 with Aileen, we did this at the retreat, and it's one of the things, like, I'm a junior, for example, right? I am a junior, meaning I already have the signature of my father coming in. And now you got a person who's a junior. You got a person who's, Pernell the third, Pernell the fourth. There's a generational signature of walking a path with that same energetic vibration. And so I do find that, like, when we did this, I did this for myself as well. And immediately, I think my earring fell off.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I had an earring that was kind of looping from one ear to the next. And it fell off. And I felt it immediately. I was like, wow. I took one more step, right, to releasing the link, releasing the chain, releasing the cycle, so I can walk my own creative path. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what we have for you. Okay? With this, I want to say thank you for your time, your effort. Do take the time to check out this link, all right, if you feel like you're interested. It doesn't begin until March 23rd, right? But in the meanwhile, we're taking applications. The registration to get the application is free, okay?
It's in the description.
It's in the description down below, so definitely check that. Definitely take the time to check out Aileen, the Mexican Bruja, and her page. She's streaming here live. Thank you for those of you checking in from Facebook, YouTube, also from Instagram simultaneously. Thank you, StreamYard, for allowing that to even be possible in the first place. That said, let me take this off the screen. Do you have any closing notes that you want to give the people?
I feel like one of the most important things is just to keep searching what makes you spiritually happy. Because that's just it with the North Node in Pisces. Just to feel what makes you feel more connected to the source, the light, to God, however you want to call it, then you know that you're in the right path. When you start forcing, overthinking, overanalyzing, feeling anxiety, then you know that you're sticking to the South Node in Virgo, and that there's something that you need to do in order to get out of there. Facts.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for hitting the thumbs up and the likes button. Thank you for being here for this transmission. Oh, we found something very useful out of this 8 tips. We did look to do our best to give out free game. This is one of the things about the North Node and Pisces as well, is to be more charitable. Now, to know where, look at where Pisces is at in your chart, right? I have a lot of Pisces in my 10th house. She has Pisces in the 10th house. So us publicly coming out is about being charitable. I hope we did a decent job with giving away these free 8 tips on entrepreneurship. Hopefully you found some value in this, even without even joining, right? Because I do believe in my heart that something in here was useful, especially for people in entrepreneurial space who are looking to really align with something that makes them spiritually happy, spiritually optimistic, and just out there, right? So I want to say thank you for being here. I hope you expand in the most beautiful and prosperous way for 2024. I wish you many, many blessings, many, many loves. Thank you for hitting the thumbs up and the likes button. If you're brand new, thank you for being here, watching this, and subscribing. Love.
Thank you.